and welcome to Good Game Well Played. I'm Rad. Now, you may have noticed Well Played has been a little bit different lately. We're no longer doing a weekly show, which means no news. Instead, Pocket will take over that duty, and I'll pop up sometimes to say hello and give you all the goss with Nick Boy. Instead, on this show, we're going to be doing more feature stories about the wider world of esports, some learned excursions, and things like primers for upcoming events. Speaking of, the Dota 2 International main event is just about to start, so I thought it would be the perfect time to give you guys my top 5 tips on how to enjoy TI6. Dota? More like Dote. Yes!
Tip 1. What's at stake?
So if you don't know, the International is the biggest Dota 2 tournament of the year, and arguably the biggest event in esports. It set the record for the largest prize pool in esports history for the last 3 years and attracts millions of viewers worldwide. Each year, Valve holds 4 big tournaments, though they have just announced they'll be changing that format. The first 3 are known as majors, and they run in autumn, winter, and spring. American seasons, of course, because America is the world. Each attracts a prize pool of almost 4 million Australian dollars, and the best teams from across the globe. And then in summer, there's the International, the cherry on top of the 3-laned pie. The prize money starts out as 2.1 million Australian dollars fronted by Valve, and then Valve sells in-game items to Dota players with no self-control. I may or may not have spent about $100 on my compendium, with 25% of sales going towards the prize pool. This means the community has spent about 94 million Australian dollars thus far, pushing the prize pool to over 25 million Australian dollars. That's a lot of hats.
Tip 2. Plan your naps.
This year, the International is held in Seattle, which means it's on at the worst possible time for Australians. Unlike the Manila Major, which was synced perfectly with our time zone, TI6 games will run from the early AM till the afternoon. Napping is a great way to see all the games you want whilst maintaining some sanity, so plan ahead. Either that or quit your job. Hey Janet!
Tip 3. Know your teams.
You don't have to know every single team and player, but having an idea of who's who helps you pick which games to watch, adds some context, and gives a bit of tension to the battle. So, let's look at some of the top teams competing this year. And first up, we have Baby Cutie Pie's OG. Having won 2 of the majors this season, OG has been one of the most stable top teams in recent history. Their teamwork is stellar, and their star player, Miracle, is the first person to ever reach 9k MMR. He's regarded as one of the most technically sound players, knowing the exact limits of every hero he plays. Backed by 2 absolutely incredible supports, Crit and Fly, they consistently back each other to pull victory after victory out of their hat. And they're my personal top pick for TI6. Next up, are they solid? No, they're Liquid, Team Liquid! But they're also solid because their plays are solid because they're quite a good team. They're like second in the world right now. Always the bridesmaid and never the bride, Liquid have come second in the last 2 majors. But this doesn't mean their skills are lacking. They're a highly experienced team led by Kuroki, who is a bedrock of solid support. He just might be the Kuro key to Liquid's success. Like OG, they've kept their current lineup for some time now, which is always a massive advantage in such a complex team game. Soaring in as the next team to watch is Wings. Wings is an ultra fun team to watch as they do away with the meta, managing to remain competitive but rarely sweeping the stakes. However, they are not to be underestimated. They've beat OG in their last few matchups and continue to improve their game and bring the pressure. They had some of the most exciting games of the last major and no doubt will have a fantastic showing at TI6. Next up, don't be fooled by the name, they're pros at this game, it's Newbie! Featuring the only Australian competing, KPI, Newbie are a consistently dominant team in smaller tournaments throughout the year. Their carry, How, is super aggressive, and their lineup has settled for long enough for them to really find their stride. 2 of their players, Moo and How, also won the International in 2014, making them very strong contenders in the game. Next up we have Na'Vi, who are the original gangsters in esports, with one of the oldest names in the game. Na'Vi are known for their unconventional tactics and willingness to experiment, making them one of the most enjoyable teams to watch. They have one of the biggest fan bases, despite their performance of late being a little bit win some, lose some. My last 2 picks are worth watching but are a little bit less certain. I'm slightly dubious about their recent roster changes. It's EG and Secret. EG are last year's international winners, though their lineup has changed since then with a series of drama-filled switch-ups. In fact, these roster changes are the very reason that both EG and Secret had to go through open qualifiers for TI6 rather than receiving invitations. Their carry, Fear, is one of the oldest in the pro scene at 28. Their position 2, Samael, is a young gun superstar who impressed us with his ballsy plays and trademark neck pillow in TI5. Although if you ask me, Samael is sometimes too ballsy. Plus, they're spearheaded by PPD, thought to be one of the best drafters in the game. So they have an absolute wealth of experience and it's hard to go past the EG name. Secret's story looks somewhat similar. Secret won the Shanghai Major earlier this season and have since had multiple roster shuffles. Their final lineup contained some absolute star players with 2 massive carries in Arteezy and Eternal Envy. Round that out with jungling captain extraordinaire Puppy, and you've got yourself a Secret. In my opinion, they have a lot of star players, but maybe not the teamwork to bring it all together, so I'm really interested to see how EG and Secret do. Now, these aren't all the top teams, it's just a select few to get you started, give you a little bit of a taste of what's going on. The Dota pro scene is hyper competitive and the skill level is absolutely exploding. There's no Roger Federer circa 2006, it's a constant bustle of teams trying to get on top. So pick a team you like the sound of and start to follow their games. It makes the whole thing make a lot more sense.
Tip 4. Watch with friends.
One of the greatest things about esports is the social aspect of it. Friends make things fun. I personally find having a little viewing party of the finals, even if it's not live, is the perfect way to cap off a big event like this. Everyone understands competition, and you'd be surprised how easily people get into a few games of esports, so don't be afraid to ask your mates, mate.
Tip 5. Pick a channel.
There are lots of online channels to watch the games. Twitch, YouTube, the in-game client, and the Dota 2 website. And each has its advantages and disadvantages. For example, the in-game client lets you click around the game yourself and it looks the best, but you don't get any of the post-game panels. The Dota 2 website gives you a bunch of extra stats and lets you click between the different streams, but Twitch and YouTube are the most convenient for watching on a TV via a console app. So make sure you check out the different offerings to find out what you like best. There's also the TI6 newcomer stream, which focuses more on basic mechanics and explaining things for a newer audience. It doesn't run for every single game, but it's worth having a check there first. We will leave a link in the description below. And never, ever watch the chat. You don't need that in your life. Well, I hope you have a very fun TI6 week. I know I will. And we'll be back after the finals to do a breakdown of the entire event. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out. And you can also tweet me at UnHurriedYo as the events are happening with any commentary you might have or great moments that you might have seen in the games, because I will be watching every game that my frail mortal body will allow. And I crave people to talk about Dota with, because my mum is sick of hearing about it. Seriously guys, talk Dota to me. Until next time, don't be toxic on the internet. Rat out.